The cameras caught him. A private jet touched down in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Keith Urban stepped off. But something was immediately different. His wedding ring, that small yet powerful symbol of nearly 2 decades of love, was gone. Sunglasses shaded his eyes, a black baseball cap shadowing his face. But fans and paparazzi noticed one detail instantly: ringless fingers holding a simple brown bag. At 57, the country superstar has faced countless headlines, awards, and sold-out tours. Yet nothing prepared the world for this quiet, yet undeniably loud image. It wasn't just the missing ring that had people talking. It was the timing. Just 2 days earlier, Nicole Kidman, the Oscar-winning actress and his wife of 19 years, filed divorce papers in Nashville, citing irreconcilable differences. For fans who followed their love story, the whirlwind romance, the co-star sparks turned into a real-life fairy tale. The image of Keith arriving ringless was both shocking and heartbreaking. What really happened behind closed doors? Was this the calm before a public storm? Or a carefully staged moment of personal reflection? His body language suggested tension, shoulders slightly hunched, fingers clutching the bag, a gaze that avoided the crowd. And yet the world couldn't look away. Every movement was dissected, every expression speculated on social media, in Hollywood. Every detail matters, and this one screamed volumes. The private jet, the sudden appearance, the subtle but undeniable absence of the wedding band. It was a visual punctuation, mark in a story that fans had suspected for months, but never fully confirmed. As Keith made his way to the Giant Center in Hershey for his October 2nd show, whispers began circulating. Had their fairy tale marriage quietly unraveled months ago? And if so, what triggered the sudden and very public divorce filing? The story was about to unfold. Behind the sunglasses and the cap was a man whose personal life had entered the spotlight once more. And behind the headlines was a woman navigating heartbreak, media scrutiny, and family loyalty. But the real question remained: was this the end of their story, or just the beginning of a new, more complicated chapter? September 30th. The world woke up to shocking news. Nicole Kidman filed for divorce from Keith Urban. After 19 years of marriage, the actress, known for her calm poise and commanding presence on screen, decided to legally end her union with the 4-time Grammy-winning country star. The filing cited irreconcilable differences, a phrase so common yet loaded with implication. For nearly 2 decades, they had appeared the perfect Hollywood couple. Red carpets, award shows, and Instagram posts painted a picture of love that seemed unbreakable. Yet, insiders now claim that the idyllic image was only a fragment of the truth. Sources close to the couple revealed that Nicole had been dreading this moment, knowing that their separation would eventually become public. She had been bracing herself, mentally and emotionally, for the scrutiny that comes with ending a high-profile marriage. The timing also added layers to the shock. The divorce filing came just 1 day after people confirmed their separation, making the news seem sudden. Yet friends and insiders hinted that the cracks in their relationship had been forming for months. It wasn't merely a drift apart. Sources suggested deeper, more complicated issues, including questionable choices on Keith's part and growing emotional distance between the pair. Fans couldn't help but look back at recent moments that now seemed loaded with irony. Photos of the couple together, laughing at events, attending high-profile matches, celebrating milestones. They all suddenly carried a weight that wasn't apparent before. Every social media post, every red carpet smile was reinterpreted, as though viewers were now reading between the lines. The divorce was no longer just a legal procedure. It became a narrative, a story of heartbreak, public perception, and private struggles. It wasn't simply about 2 people ending a marriage. It was about the collision of personal life and public expectation. The quiet unraveling of a relationship played out under the unblinking eyes of millions. And as the news spread, speculation ignited. Fans wondered, was there a trigger event? A secret argument? Or had this been a slow, inevitable drift that finally reached a tipping point? The world was eager for answers, but as often happens in Hollywood, the truth was layered, complicated, And far from simple, 2 days after the filing, Keith Urban appeared in public, and the image of him stepping off the private jet became instantly iconic. Ringless sunglasses on, black cap shadowing his face, the superstar seemed to carry a mix of detachment and tension. Every detail was analyzed. Fans noticed how his fingers clutched a brown bag, as if holding onto something more than just his belongings. His arrival at the Giant Center in Hershey for his October 2nd show was more than a routine tour stop. It was a visual statement. The absence of the wedding band symbolized a transition, the end of a chapter, and perhaps the beginning of another. Observers dissected his posture, slightly hunched shoulders, tight jaw, and eyes that seemed to avoid direct contact. Even seasoned paparazzi commented on the subtle vulnerability in his stance. The timing intensified speculation. Only a day earlier, Nicole had been spotted on a hiking trail with her sister, Antonia, showing the contrasting states of the former couple, where Nicole appeared focused, grounded, and protected by family support. Keith's lone arrival suggested introspection. A man publicly alone, but privately navigating emotional turbulence. This public appearance sparked conversations about Keith's mindset. Social media exploded with fans theorizing everything from he's reflecting on the marriage to he's preparing for a media storm. Critics even speculated whether this personal upheaval would influence his performances, set lists, and tour energy. Yet Keith remained composed, professional, and enigmatic, allowing the imagery to tell a story without words. The ringless fingers became a symbol in their own right, capturing a narrative that words alone could not convey. And while the world dissected this moment, insiders hinted that Keith's recent behavior had been part of a longer pattern, adding complexity to what might have seemed like a sudden separation. What the public saw was only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath it lay months of private decisions, emotional shifts, and relational struggles that were now spilling into public view. While the world's eyes were glued to Keith Urban's ringless public appearance, Nicole Kidman was quietly reclaiming her space. Far from flashing cameras, but not from the scrutiny of her own thoughts. On October 1st, the day before Keith was spotted stepping off the jet, Nicole was seen hiking through the lush trails of Nashville with her sister Antonia by her side. The walk was unassuming, almost serene. Yet beneath the calm exterior, tension simmered. Sources close to the family revealed that the Oscar-winning actress had been under immense stress. Anticipating the moment their separation would become public, imagine balancing personal heartbreak against the relentless gaze of the media, knowing every step, every expression would be dissected. Nicole reportedly dreaded this moment for weeks, fearing the narrative that would be constructed around her marriage and its abrupt unraveling. And yet, she maintained a remarkable composure. Insiders describe her as surprisingly level-headed and calm, focused not on the past, but on the path ahead and most importantly on her daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. Family support played a critical role during this period. Nicole's sister, Antonia, has been described as a steadfast presence, a rock in a sea of uncertainty. The entire Kidman family reportedly rallied around the actress, ensuring that she wasn't navigating this storm alone. This tight-knit support network, combined with Nicole's own resilience, painted a picture of someone quietly processing one of the most public personal crises imaginable. Yet even in moments of calm, hints of lingering heartbreak were evident. Observers noted that while Nicole appeared composed during the hike, there was a gravity in her demeanor, a weight that suggested she was reflecting on both the highs and lows of nearly 2 decades with Keith Urban. The hike became symbolic, a personal journey through grief, contemplation, and eventual acceptance. Every step she took, every measured breath, was a small act of reclaiming control over her narrative. Fans watching these images from afar could sense the duality of her situation. On one hand, Nicole embodied grace and determination. On the other, the quiet intensity of someone confronting an emotional upheaval that would reshape her life. It was a delicate balance, one that only someone seasoned by both personal experience and the pressures of Hollywood could manage. And as the public speculated about Keith's solitary appearance, Nicole's measured steps through Nashville trails told a parallel story, a narrative of quiet strength, family loyalty, and the daunting challenge of facing a world suddenly focused on your most private heartbreak. But even here, the tension lingered. What was the emotional toll of this separation on her, and how much of the story would remain hidden until the world caught up? While the public was absorbing Keith Urban's Ringless appearance and Nicole Kidman's composed hiking outing, the real story was quietly unfolding behind closed doors. For 19 years, this marriage was celebrated as Hollywood's fairy tale, a union of two creative powerhouses, blending music and film into a picture-perfect narrative. But insiders now reveal that not everything glittered beneath the red carpet smiles. Sources close to the couple describe a pattern that had been developing for months, perhaps even years. Keith has been going through some stuff, a family insider disclosed. Rumors suggest that his recent choices, both personal and professional, contributed to mounting tension between the two. Friends hint at late-night decisions, long periods away on tour, and a growing emotional distance that wasn't immediately visible to the public. The picture-perfect couple, it seems, had quietly become two individuals navigating separate worlds under the same roof. The cracks were subtle at first. Missed anniversary celebration, short phone calls, and private arguments that never reached social media. Then came moments that insiders describe as questionable choices, triggering private worry and heartbreak for Nicole. She reportedly fought to save the marriage, attempting to reconcile differences and bridge the growing gap. Yet as the weeks passed, the realization set in that their paths might be diverging irreparably. Hollywood marriages are often public spectacles, and the Kidman-Urban relationship was no exception. But the private battles remained largely hidden until now. Family sources confirmed that Nicole's sister Antonia played a pivotal role, offering guidance and emotional stability as Nicole grappled with decisions that would change the course of her life. Every choice, every conversation behind those closed doors, added layers to a story that the public only glimpsed through carefully staged appearances and occasional social media snapshots. Keith's circle of friends also paints a complex picture. While no one disputes his musical brilliance, insiders suggest that he's been emotionally navigating challenges that were difficult even for those closest to him to understand. Was it the stress of touring, the pressure of maintaining a public image, or deeper personal struggles that had nothing to do with fame? Whatever the mix, the combination of these hidden pressures seems to have set the stage for the public divorce filing. For fans, the contrast between the glamorous public image and the private turmoil is almost jarring. What seemed like a seamless Hollywood romance was, behind the cameras, a delicate dance of love, disappointment, and struggle. And now, with the divorce papers filed and Ringless appearances emerging, the world was witnessing the tipping point, a rare glimpse into the human reality behind celebrity facades. Asterisk, the story was far from over. The next chapters would reveal how two legendary figures would navigate heartbreak, family loyalty, and the unavoidable public gaze, all while the echoes of nearly 2 decades of marriage still lingered in every glance, every post, and every subtle gesture. Before the shock of the divorce filings and the Ringless arrival made headlines, the world last saw Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman together at a public event, a moment that, in hindsight, now feels charged with hidden meaning. On June 20th, 2025, the couple attended the FIFA Club World Cup match at Geodis Park in Nashville, supporting the Los Angeles Football Club against Esperance de Tunis. At first glance, it was a casual sports outing, a couple sharing a love of live events. But the timing and the subtle interactions tell a different story. This appearance was just 5 days before their 19th wedding anniversary. A moment that should have been celebratory instead becomes, in retrospect, haunting. Observers noted the small gestures, smiles that didn't quite reach the eyes, brief moments of distance, fleeting glances that suggested unspoken tensions. It's easy to misread public appearances, especially with two celebrities whose lives are constantly scrutinized. Yet, insiders now suggest that this day marked a turning point, a final public demonstration of togetherness before the inevitable separation began its public march. Fans may also recall Nicole's social media posts that followed, Just 5 days later, she shared a cozy anniversary photo with Keith, captioned, "Happy anniversary, baby," at Keith Urban. At the time, it seemed heartfelt and ordinary, a loving gesture that celebrated nearly 2 decades of marriage. Today, that same photo carries an almost eerie undertone. It's a reminder of the contrast between public perception and private reality, a relationship celebrated online while quietly fraying behind the scenes. Asterisk. What makes this appearance even more significant is how quickly the narrative shifted in the months that followed. Within 3 months, the news of their split was made public, culminating in Nicole's formal divorce filing. For fans who closely followed their story, the June outing now reads almost like a final chapter in their shared public history, a curated snapshot of love that had already begun to unravel. Insiders note that the couple's coordination at events was often deliberate, a way to maintain a sense of normalcy for themselves and their children. But on that particular day, subtle cracks were visible to those paying attention. Body language experts might note the tension in Keith's stance, the measured composure of Nicole, and the careful distance maintained during photographs. These small details, imperceptible to many, now form pieces of a puzzle that fans are piecing together. Trying to understand the private struggles behind the headlines, the June 20th appearance serves as a reminder of how public images can mask private realities. It prompts reflection on the challenges of balancing fame, family, and personal fulfillment. And as fans continue to examine every public moment of the couple's history, the question lingers. Were there other silent signs that hinted at the end of their 19-year journey together, waiting for the world to notice? In the world of celebrity, even a single Instagram post can ripple across social media, sparking millions of reactions, comments, and theories. For Nicole Kidman, that platform became a poignant marker in the timeline of her marriage to Keith Urban. Just 5 days after their last public appearance together at the FIFA Club World Cup in June, Nicole shared what seemed, at first glance, like a heartfelt and ordinary anniversary tribute. The post featured a cozy photograph of the couple, smiling and close, capturing a moment that radiated intimacy and affection. Her caption read simply, "Happy anniversary, baby," at Keith Urban. To the public, it was a sweet, loving gesture, a testament to a nearly 2-decade-long union filled with milestones, children, and shared experiences in the limelight. But when viewed in the context of later events, the post takes on a different resonance. Hinting at a relationship under strain beneath the surface, fans and social media followers were quick to dissect the post, looking for any hidden signs. Was it genuine, or a last effort to project normalcy while grappling with growing distance? The truth, as insiders would later suggest, was a delicate mix. Nicole had been quietly trying to navigate the complexities of her marriage, balancing public appearances, personal emotions, and the well-being of her daughters. She may have wanted to hold on to the semblance of a normal life while privately confronting challenges that were invisible to the world. This anniversary post now reads, almost like a silent farewell. Every smile, every gesture captured in the image carries the weight of unspoken tension. For those who closely followed their story, the timing is striking, a loving tribute on the surface. Yet mere months later, the couple would announce their separation, leaving fans and the media to reconcile the public image with the private reality. The post also sheds light on the difficult balance that public figures must maintain between their personal lives and public personas. Nicole's action illustrates a common dynamic in celebrity relationships, the need to protect one's private emotions while maintaining appearances for fans, colleagues, and the media. The anniversary tribute, therefore, becomes more than a simple celebration. It transforms into a symbolic moment that underscores the complexities, pressures, and sometimes painful facades of high-profile relationships. As the world later learned about the divorce filing, this anniversary post took on a layered significance. It became a reminder of how much is hidden behind curated smiles, carefully framed photographs, and affectionate captions. For fans piecing together the timeline, It marks a bittersweet turning point, a moment of love publicly celebrated, yet quietly overshadowed by an impending separation that neither the post nor the photograph could fully conceal. Behind the flashing cameras and public speculation lies the most personal and delicate part of this story: the children. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban are parents to two daughters, Sunday Rose, 17, and Faith Margaret, 14. For them, the world of celebrity has always been a backdrop to their daily lives, but the sudden divorce and the subsequent media attention bring a complexity that no child should have to navigate. Insiders reveal that Nicole has been intensely focused on shielding her daughters from the upheaval. Every public appearance, every carefully worded statement, and even her choice of clothing are calculated to maintain a sense of normalcy for Sunday and Faith. Her priority is not the headlines, the speculation, or even her own heartbreak. It is the well-being and stability of her children. Family sources describe her as remarkably calm, despite the emotional storm surrounding her. Nicole's sister, Antonia, has been a central pillar of support, providing both guidance and emotional stability. The Kidman family reportedly came together in a show of solidarity, ensuring that Nicole did not face this monumental challenge alone. From private conversations to quiet moments of reassurance, the family's unity has been a crucial factor in helping her navigate the stress and public scrutiny that inevitably accompanies a celebrity divorce. Keith, meanwhile, has also been under scrutiny, though he remains relatively private about his relationship with his daughters in this context. Sources close to him reveal that he has been going through some stuff, hinting at personal struggles and the emotional weight of navigating both fatherhood and a high-profile separation. Despite the tension, both parents appear committed to keeping the children at the center of their decision-making, emphasizing co-parenting over conflict. One striking element of this unfolding story is the silence from both camps. Reps for Nicole and Keith have not commented publicly, leaving fans and media to piece together the narrative from photos, insider reports, and subtle social media hints. This deliberate quietness creates a tension all its own. The world is watching, guessing, and analyzing, yet the truth remains largely behind closed doors, known only to those directly involved. The juxtaposition is striking. A family navigating heartbreak in private while the public watches from afar, projecting assumptions and creating theories. Nicole's composed demeanor, the daughters' lives being protected, and the family's quiet support system all paint a picture of resilience under pressure. Yet, the silence amplifies curiosity and speculation. The questions remain: how are the daughters coping? How much of the marital strain reached them? And in the shadows of fame, how will this family emerge on the other side of such a highly publicized chapter? While Nicole Kidman navigated the emotional and public complexities of the divorce with quiet composure, Keith Urban's world unfolded in a very different way. His first public sighting, post-divorce filing, stepping off a private jet in Harrisburg without his wedding ring, was more than a visual statement. It was a window into a man grappling with personal turmoil under the relentless glare of fame. Insiders suggest that Keith has been going through some stuff for months, hinting at decisions and pressures that contributed to the marriage's unraveling. Touring, a cornerstone of his career, has also played a role. Constant travel, late nights, and the physical and emotional demands of live performance can isolate even the strongest personalities. For Keith, these professional pressures appear to have collided with personal struggles, creating a perfect storm of emotional strain. Friends close to the country star describe him as introspective and at times withdrawn, often appearing to carry burdens privately rather than allowing them to spill into public view. The missing wedding ring symbolized more than the end of a marriage. It was a subtle indicator of transition, of a man processing change in his own way. Observers note a tension in his body language, a mix of vulnerability and controlled composure. Each step toward the concert venue, each glance around the crowd seemed measured, almost as if he were aware of every eye scrutinizing him. And indeed, the world was watching, interpreting each movement, wondering about the private challenges behind those sunglasses and the calm, public demeanor. Reports suggest that Keith's personal choices may have contributed to the growing rift between him and Nicole. This wasn't just a case of drifting apart, insiders reveal. The term questionable choices has been used repeatedly in discussions of the couple's private struggles, hinting at decisions that created tension, distrust, or emotional distance. While the specifics remain private, the narrative that emerges is one of a man caught between public expectation, personal ambition, and the complexities of maintaining a high-profile marriage. Yet, despite the pressures, Keith has maintained his professional focus. His October 2nd show in Hershey went on as scheduled, demonstrating a dedication to his craft that seems almost at odds with the emotional upheaval in his personal life. Fans, critics, and media observers alike are left to reconcile the image of the confident, commanding performer with the man behind the sunglasses, silently navigating a transformative period in his life. Keith Urban's mindset during this time reflects a broader truth about celebrity and human vulnerability. No matter how public the success, private struggles can remain hidden, visible only through subtle gestures, choices, and the moments the cameras happen to capture. The missing ring, the solitary flights, the quiet steps toward a concert venue, all of it forms a mosaic of a man processing loss, responsibility, and the pressures of life under the spotlight as the dust settles on headlines, paparazzi snapshots, and social media speculation. One question dominates. What happens next for Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman? After 19 years together, the end of a marriage is rarely simple, even more so when two global icons are involved. The story is no longer just about heartbreak. It's about navigating a world where every choice, every movement is watched, analyzed, and dissected by millions. For Nicole, the immediate focus is her daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, and reclaiming a sense of stability. Sources reveal that she has embraced the support of her family, particularly her sister Antonia, who has been described as a steadfast rock. Nicole's calm composure and deliberate steps toward a private, grounded life demonstrate a resilience forged over decades in the public eye. She appears determined to protect her children and herself from the chaos that often accompanies high-profile divorces. Yet, even in this quiet, there's a lingering tension. How will life continue after such a defining chapter comes to an end? Keith Urban, meanwhile, continues to tour, perform, maintain a public presence, all while processing an intensely personal transition. His ringless hand, the private jet appearances, and the glimpses of introspection captured by photographers paint a picture of a man balancing professional responsibility with private reflection. Fans are left to interpret what they see. A superstar facing the end of a significant relationship, navigating both regret and growth and grappling with the weight of 19 years of shared life experiences. The future, while uncertain, is marked by potential. Both Nicole and Keith have achieved immense professional success and built legacies that extend far beyond their marriage. Yet in this moment, the focus is intensely personal. How will they redefine themselves individually? How will they support their daughters through this transition? And perhaps most intriguingly, how will the world continue to interpret their actions, their words, and their social media presence in the months and years ahead? One thing is clear: the narrative is far from over. Each appearance, each statement, each subtle interaction will be scrutinized, adding layers to a story that blends love, loss, and resilience. The missing ring, the anniversary posts, the family support, these are not just isolated details but fragments of a complex tapestry, revealing both the fragility and strength of human relationships under the spotlight. As fans and media continue to speculate, the truth remains layered, nuanced, and deeply human. What started as a fairy tale marriage now enters a new chapter, one of personal growth, family protection, and navigating life under extraordinary circumstances. And while the world waits for the next reveal, one lesson emerges unmistakably, even amidst heartbreak and public scrutiny. Room for resilience, reinvention. In the quiet reclamation of one's own story, the story of Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman is far from finished. Unfolds, the world watches, captivated, waiting for the next move in a saga of love, fame, and truths that lie just beneath the surface.